When I discovered my wife's secret affair, I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I spent months quietly orchestrating a master plan to take the house, the kids, and her loyalty. My wife and I were a typical suburban professional couple with kids, going through a standard rough patch. We were both working long hours, and she was spending more time on her phone. I assumed it was friends, but a distance was growing. Then I charged up an old iPad for my son. Her Messenger account was still logged in on it. I saw suspicious messages with a guy named JBC. Many of them had already been deleted. I decided to keep a close eye on it. The next day, I did some home projects to make her happy, but that evening she was right back texting. I took the iPad to my office and watched the conversation in real time. My wife was completely tearing me down to JBC. They laughed at my deepest flaws and secrets. They mocked my performance in bed. The conversation was dripping with sexual undertones. She deleted texts as she sent them, but I got screenshots. For 2 solid weeks, I detached myself from the relationship, taking screenshots. I knew there was no going back. Their messages became overtly sexual. Then I saw JBC was coming to town. My wife buttered me up, claiming she needed a girls' spa weekend to recharge our marriage. I played along perfectly, telling her it was wonderful. Meanwhile, I had my lawyer draft a strong separation agreement where she would move out. On the day of her trip, I put my plan into motion. I emptied half of our joint bank accounts. Then I printed 75 pages of Facebook screenshots. At 8:30, I walked into their hotel. I had the front desk connect me to JBC's room. When he answered, I calmly told him to send my wife down. He panicked and played dumb, but I bluffed about calling his wife. Within 2 minutes, my flustered wife stepped out. I sat her down and handed her the separation agreement. When she tried to lie, I held up the screenshots. I told her that if she didn't sign and move out immediately, I would send these to her teenage daughter, her parents, and everyone. Terrified of losing her prideful image, she cried. I told her not to return to the house and walked away. By Monday, she moved her things and delivered the signed agreement. A week later, she begged to meet. She got on her knees, crying, pleading for another chance. I had no intention of taking her back, but I realized I could use this. I told her to arrange marriage counseling. I also suggested she come over to cook, clean, and do laundry for the kids while I stayed out of sight. For months, she came over to cook and clean. We went to counseling where she begged while I played the victim. My goal was never reconciliation. I wanted to establish myself as the primary caregiver and prove she didn't live there. I even went part-time at my job, reducing my income. After 6 months, I told her I wanted a divorce, but lied and said maybe we could try again someday. To guarantee custody, I needed the kids to choose me. I left infidelity articles where my teenage daughter would find them. She found them and came to me crying. I pretended to defend her mother, which only made her angrier. Soon she refused to speak to her mother. When the court asked the kids, they both insisted on staying with me. I got custody, the house, and generous child support. For the last 2 years, I've lived incredibly comfortably in our family home, working part-time while my ex-wife subsidizes my entire lifestyle. In the eyes of my kids, I am the ultimate saintly father who stayed strong. To my ex, I'm still the tragic love of her life who she constantly pines for. I even keep her completely hooked by dangling the tiny false hope of getting back together, which gets me whatever I want. I played the ultimate long game and won absolutely everything. Do you think my calculated revenge went too far?